Welcome to Dating Déjà Vu, the podcast where we talk about your patterns, your pitfalls, and your personal growth in dating and relationships. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, marriage and family therapist and dating relationship expert. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about dating rules we need to leave in the past. Yes, these are the things that our mothers and our grandmothers taught us, and we need to let go of them because honestly, they're just kind of bullshit. So if your dating and love life has been a little bit of the same over and over again, it might be deja vu, but it also might be you. So let's figure it out together. What is up, Déjà crew? Welcome back to another episode. I hope you're having a wonderful week and you are going to have fun this weekend. Maybe you're going on some fun dates. And so this is a perfect opportunity to listen to this episode so that you cut the cord on some of these things that we're going to talk about. And today we're going to talk about the most outused, overrated, straight up toxic dating rules or tropes that we have tried. They have been tried and true throughout time, but they are really just little rules and expectations people still swear by in modern dating, like things like the guy should always text first or playing hard to get actually works. And we're going to talk about if these hold any truth or should we retire them? And that's what we are figuring out today. So I'm going to go through each of them. We're going to talk about where they come from. We're going to talk about why it's problematic and why some people still defend it. We're going to say if we're going to keep it or if we're going to cancel it. So first one's first. The guy should always text first. So in modern dating, this is a classic one. The guy should always text you first. Obviously, if you're on the apps, the guy should reach out first. This one has been around forever. And even in 25, some people still swear by it. The idea is that the guy texting first proves he's interested and that women shouldn't make the first move because it looks too desperate. But does it actually make sense? So where does this come from? So the old school dating norms were where men were expected to pursue, right? So you think about courting and asking for, the ring and if they'd be their girl and they get the Letterman jacket and all of those things. They ask the dad if they can take the woman out. Now, I love all of that. I think it's very respectful. However, it's very sexist, but also it says that the woman doesn't have any autonomy or authority in that relationship. It also, the idea is that women look too eager or too desperate or thirsty, if you will, if they text first. And the belief is that the man needs to earn the woman's attention, right? But what's wrong with this is it really enforces like passive dating, waiting instead of choosing, right? Here's the thing. If you're a woman who has broken the barrier everywhere else, why can't you break that in dating? Like maybe you're in a male dominated field. Maybe you are lifting weights more than the dudes. Whatever that looks like, you want that equality, then we need to have equality in dating, right? This assumes that men and women don't have equally contribute, or they're not equally contributing to the dating dynamic, that the man holds all the cards. No, they do not. If you want to go on a date, you ask, hey, are you available this weekend? But I see this with my clients and they will text me, hey, he said he wanted to go out. It's been a week. He hasn't made plans. Text him. Hey, I know you were saying you wanted to get together. Give me some good times and dates so I can work, put it in my schedule. Now, this is going to tell you right away if he was serious about seeing you again, and you can be assertive. That's not aggressive, nor is it thirsty. It's you being an assertive woman who is looking for a partner who says what she wants. That's what guys want, right? Well, most healthy guys want that. And so, it really leads to these like kind of unnecessary games and missed connections, missed opportunities, where if you're just using this rule or this trope, you're going to miss out on an opportunity that might be your person. But because you're like, well, he hasn't texted me, maybe he's busy, or maybe, I don't know, he's not a big texter, and you guys figure that out and you do be the first one that texts. I don't know. Or again, if you want to go out and he hasn't contacted you, now you're just giving someone else control of your need. Right? Now, again, if he's not contacting you at all, that's another story. But why people still defend this is that people like the chase, right? And they think that if someone can chase them, like that means they're interested. And it often feels like it sets an expectation of effort from the start. So do we keep it or cancel it? The verdict for me is cancel it. If you want to talk to someone, you text them. Attraction isn't a one-way street. Mutual effort matters. And again, how sexy is it for a woman to say, hey, really enjoyed our date, wanted to see if you wanted to hang out. I've got time on Wednesday. Boom. Now you're going to go have a nice dinner on Wednesday. If they are interested in you, you're going to tell them that you are also interested in them. And that one-sided thing is so important because you're not giving the guy anything. So he's just kind of guessing, and that's going to reflect in his behavior. And so he might not be as pursuant if he knew you were interested, because you were more assertive, because you weren't waiting around for him to, come sweep you off your feet. So we're canceling that in 2025. Again, mutual effort matters. Next one, playing hard to get works. This one, the whole act like you don't care so they can chase you again strategy. This is one of those rules that people swear by, but also complain about endlessly. It's the let them take 4 hours to respond so I don't seem too available type of logic. Now, you shouldn't be, if you don't have time to respond to someone, you don't respond to someone. There's a difference. If you're working and you're trying to have healthy boundaries, you don't have to respond to them. But if you are sitting around and a guy responds to you and you text back pretty quickly, great. If you don't do that all the time, he's going to realize sometimes she can text me back right away, sometimes she can't, right? And this belief comes from the belief that people value what they have to work for. And yes, that's true in other areas of our lives, but not our relationships. Relationships are based in connection. So if you're playing hard to get, you're missing that ability to connect. Again, where it comes from is people think that they have to be mysterious, right? That they have to create this scarcity mindset with the attention and time that they give. But if you're someone who had a upbringing where your parent was scarce with their connection with you, that's going to be incredibly triggering, or you're going to just end up in another toxic relationship. And again, the fear of looking too interested is scary to people. A healthy person will validate your interest. An unhealthy person will think you're too thirsty because they're not emotionally ready for someone who's secure in themselves. And again, I tell you guys this all the time. Your actions, when you act on those things, that these rules that you're scared of, are going to tell you right away if you're working with an unhealthy versus a healthy person. Again, it's problematic. It confuses the person. It's playing games. It confuses games with actual chemistry. You think, oh, I'm playing these games and look, he's like chasing after me. And you think that that's chemistry. It's not. You're now in a trauma bond of, again, someone who is withholding love and someone who feels like they have to work really hard to receive that love. And if they don't work that hard, then that love will be withheld from them, right? That was a lot of withheld in one sentence. The other part, though, is remember, we're here to talk about why we keep attracting the same person. It attracts the people who like to chase and not people who necessarily like a relationship. I have clients who that is their thing. Once they get that guy in, they're like, all right, I'm done. Chase is over, right? And he's in. I got him, and it gives him the ick because all they're attracted to is the chase and the unpredictability, and it breeds insecurity. It breeds insecurity because you're second guessing instead of being open with your communication. And when you can give them the guide, you give them the map to you, you're going to really save a lot of time, because either they're going to follow the map and you get their map too, and you follow the map and we figure out if we like each other, or if they get overwhelmed with you being assertive, then boom, again, there's your answer. We still defend this because it can create some intrigue and anticipation, right, in the early stages. So it's that kind of like mystery false chemistry that you have. And the other part, though, is, well, I'll get to this in a second. And some people genuinely need pacing to avoid rushing into things, which is understandable. Pacing and having boundaries is different than knowing, like I said, I can answer that text. I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to look desperate. There's a difference between those two things. And, if maybe pacing for you is only seeing a person, maybe you're someone who is like completely been loved bombed and you go hard in the paint right away in the relationship, pacing is something that's super helpful and healthy for you. Pacing is different than I'm playing this game because I don't want to look too desperate. So are we going to keep it or cancel it? We're going to modify it. Playing slightly unavailable isn't the worst, but full-blown games we don't want to do. Instead, we want to focus on balancing your energy, being interested but not being smothered, of course, which is something that is on the opposite end. If you want to hear more about that, listen to the Love Addict, Love Avoidant podcast or episode that we just did. All right, next one. Rule number 3, opposites attract. Opposites attract. There was a whole song on it. We've all heard this one before. It's the bad boy, the good girl, every fucking romantic comedy, Hallmark series is this. The wild extrovert is attracted to the shy introvert. And while some differences can be exciting, is this actually a sustainable dating strategy? So where it comes from is this idea that contrast creates chemistry, right? So you can't feel happy if you don't feel sad. I say that a lot. You don't know white if you can't see black. Like you don't know daytime if you don't know nighttime, right? And there's also these, again, like I said, pop culture feeds into this. Rom-coms, books, they romanticize this mismatched pairs. I mean, we can name off, 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That, all these movies that we grew up with, or at least I grew up with, that were all like the cute, popular guy and the nerdy, artsy girl, right? And that's in almost every movie, I feel like, or it's like the dominant woman marries the or is attracted to the maintenance guy. It's always this like opposite thing. The problem with this is that there can be fundamental differences with this opposites attract, right? Different values, different goals. And this will create conflict in relationship. It's not going to create attraction, right? And you can have what we want to have ultimately is shared values. Long-term compatibility relies on them. And not only shared values, but shared priorities and goals in your life. So you can be very similar people and have these shared things. You can also be opposites and have these shared things. And chemistry doesn't always equal compatibility. Okay. So those are two different things. Because remember, chemistry can be so many things. You can think it's chemistry because you have this unpredictable, chaotic thing and it's false chemistry. Compatibility is long-term, right? I'm watching Love is Blind and like one of the couples just had a conversation about politics. Now, that's a pretty important conversation. They hadn't had it in the pods. They had it like right before their wedding. And that was insane to me because those are things that obviously we need to know. And like a Republican and a Democrat, while actually I married someone who is different than me when it comes to how we vote, but we actually realized we're actually pretty middle in things. And by middle, there's no party for us. But for a lot of people, that can be a big issue, right? So that shy introvert might be more conservative and that extrovert might be more liberal, and that can cause a lot of issues. Why people still defend this? They think differences can create excitement and push people outside of their comfort zones. Can this be true? Yes. My husband says like he's not very social, but when he likes to be social, and I'm the one who always initiates conversations with other people, which allows for him to be social, but he wouldn't normally initiate conversations. So I definitely defend that. And we can have complementary strengths that can make and improve our relationship dynamics. My husband's great with numbers, math, things that require more logic. I'm great with creativity. I'm great with emotions, obviously. And so that really helps in our relationship because we can see things from different views. So again, keep it or cancel it. We're going to modify it as well. Opposites can attract, but shared values will keep you together. So what do we value? What are our goals? What are our priorities in life? And do we have a couple of things that we like? So like my husband and I love music. We love to go out and just like have a brunch, on a patio, have a beer and like enjoy our time. We love to be with our friends. Like these are things that we do together. We love to travel. We love dogs. And obviously the greater things, the value, like being there for each other, reciprocity in our relationship, trust, fun. That was a big thing for him. He just wanted to find a partner that he could have fun with. I remember him saying that so many times. He was so afraid that fun would go away, and it has not yet. So that is that. All right. Rule number 4, if they're not jealous, they don't care. This is a super toxic one, but it still lingers. Some people believe that jealousy equals love. If their partner isn't jealous when they go out or get attention from other people, they assume it means they don't care. But does jealousy really equal love? So where did this come from? Was this possessiveness being mistaken for passion, right? Again, we see this again in movies. We also have this idea that jealousy is normal and that it's healthy. And the belief is that lack of jealousy means like indifference, like they don't want you. My husband is not jealous at all, at all. He'll be like, oh, that guy bought you a drink. Did you ask for one for me? Like, it's wonderful because I talk to a lot of people. My best friend actually was talking to this guy, literally giving him a coaching session. We were at Bottled Blonde in Scottsdale, Arizona, not the place I should be giving a coaching session. And my friend was like, don't you get jealous? Like, don't you get mad as she talks to other guys? It's like, no, because I know exactly what she's talking about. She's probably giving him relationship advice. Literally is exactly what I was doing. And he didn't care. He didn't care. And that's so healthy. But what we do is we think that jealousy is something that we need, like that means they want us. But really it's problematic because it's based in insecurity. Right. And a secure relationship, as I'm saying, does not rely on jealousy or validation. That's nothing about a secure relationship. Jealousy is nowhere in the house of a secure relationship. And it can lead to very controlling and problematic behaviors, right? Now we're controlling how you look, controlling when you go out. You might think that that is love, but really that is setting you up for a very toxic, controlling relationship. First signs of jealousy for me. So just another story. So when I was dating my husband, I was also dating another guy, and I was very open with both of them that I was dating both of them. And the other guy, I remember I was leaving his house and he's like, well, where were you on Saturday? I was like, well, I was out. He's like, well, I text you. And I'm like, I was out. I was with the other guy. I'm not going to text you while I'm with the other guy. He's like, well, I think that you need to be texting me back if we're da da da. And I'm like, no, I don't need to do anything. I remember being very bold in that, I told you I'm dating other people. I'm going to be respectful to them when I'm with them, just as I am respectful to you when I am with you, because if I was texting them when I'm with you, you probably wouldn't like that. And I ended things that night because it was very insecure. And that was not what I was looking for. That might have been the old me looked for, but no. All right. Why we still defend it, some level of jealousy can be a natural emotional response. It can highlight what matters to someone in relationship. This, again, is all based in this idea that this is some sort of way to prove your love. Are we keeping it or canceling it? We are canceling it. Security is what we want. We don't want jealousy, period. We want a secure person because they're emotionally mature. An emotional, immature, unhealthy person is going to be the jealous one, and you're just going to find yourself in the same relationship. All right. So final takeaways. So after putting these dating rules on trial, here's what we landed with. The rules we're canceling. The guy should always text first. No, get rid of it. If they're not jealous, they don't care. Get rid of them. The rules we're modifying. Playing hard to get works. Flirting is fine. Games are not. Opposites attract. Some differences are good, but shared values matter more. If you're navigating modern dating, ditch these outdated rules and focus on what actually works, which is communication, shared effort, and mutual interest, right? No more mind games. No more who texts first debate. Just real intentional dating. So which rule are you going to cancel in 2025? DM or comment on today's post. If you love this episode, don't forget to follow Dating Déjà Vu at Dating Déjà Vu Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Also, if you've not followed this on wherever you listen to your podcast, please give us a follow there so you can get all of our new episodes. And if you're interested in my dating coaching, you can check out the show notes for the link below, and we can get in conversation. And I'll just leave you with this. It might be deja vu, but it also might be you. See you next time.